Hello and welcome everyone. This is Cavalier Staria, and today we'll be continuing on with All Quiet in the Trenches. So this one we're going to actually go through the camp phase. We went through this little journal before, so let me just go ahead and just skip over here so that we could show what the entire situation around camp. So this is where you're going to be spending a fairly significant amount of time. This is basically the only time where your guys can actually get rest. And now we need to meet everyone in the camp. So we got our squad who live here. And then over here, we have the field hospital. And the field hospital is where like your guys will go when they get wounded. And funny enough, you can actually find your guy, such as Linek. Linek is right here. All of your guys, if they're injured, will show up here. It's actually kind of a really cool detail. And here we got Nurse Elizabeth. She is the basically the head nurse here. You're Linek's Unterofficer. I am Sister Elizabeth Ritter. I recognize our small field hospital here. Don't worry, Linek is doing pretty well. He will soon recover from his wound. I'm honestly glad we were overwhelmed so quickly. The shorter a skirmish, the fewer dead and wounded. Now I can ask, is defeat good? As far as I'm concerned, certainly yes. The lieutenant can throw a fit about losing the trench line all he wants. But I'm content with not being overburdened and nobody dying under my care, just because we don't have enough time for proper treatment. Which, yeah, that's fair. Although, to be fair, you probably want to still be winning. So you can either reprimand her or agree with her. I'm actually going to agree with her. I'm glad you see it that way too. There's some people in the camp who believe that the war will be decided right here. Complete nonsense. They want fame and glory. As a nurse, I know there's only agony and death to be won here. Now, Nurse Elizabeth is actually a fairly unique character in this because basically, if you don't know, World War I was the war that shattered the romantic idea of war. Like, there's a great saying that before World War I, everyone was cheering that the war started. They were sending their sons off eagerly to the recruiting stations in order to, join the army and prove that they were men. Then when World War II happened, everyone cried. World War I completely shattered any romantic idea of being a soldier or being a hero. But yeah, Nurse Elizabeth seems to be someone who's a bit more of a pacifist and frankly kind of sane. So now let's go ahead and meet our next person over here at the field kitchen. Here we have Field Cook Zylensky. Welcome to the camp, Air Officer. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Anton Zylensky, your field cook. I'm afraid I can't cook anything for you right now, though, as the squad hasn't been allocated supplies yet. Better contact Feldintendant Hennick, logistics officer. He is responsible for your supplies. Now, this creates something that I'm not entirely the biggest fan of, is you talk to this guy, now you have to come over to headquarters, where this is where your lieutenant lives, this dick, and your logistics officer. For some reason, is not wearing a uniform. I don't get that. You're the new group's Unterofficer, right? Field Intendant Hennick responsible for supplying the troops. Allocate some supplies for your group immediately. It should last you until the next supply shipment. Chances are it probably won't. Talk to me if you need anything. Here's to good cooperation, Herr Unterofficer. And we'll go ahead and talk about these. You can ask about the next shipment. You can ask for a favor. You could offer help, which is how you improve their opinion of you. And I can request additional provisions. Meanwhile, let's head back here. Which, if you notice, I just clicked the normally the turn ender. That one will automatically take you to any conversation that you need to do. Now, he's going to tell us about ration sizes. And this one's actually a really interesting mechanic. So we got standard rations, which is what we're currently on. That basically is just a standard meal. or you could give them double rations, which improves morale and helps them recover quicker. However, that obviously uses up more food. And then you got meager rations, which are like, if you're low on food, that's the best way of handling, like, having low food. But then your soldiers aren't super happy with that. And also, they don't recover as quickly. So with that, all we can do is just set up the camp and wait for Linek in order to get out of the hospital. And with that, we will hit next turn. And we'll skip forward in time. Friday, March 12th. Danner has settled in effortlessly in many regards. As a professional soldier, many things came very easily to him that other new soldiers had difficulties with. He had even become a kind of mentor to some of his comrades, whom he could help out of his wealth of experience. However, word had already gone around that he was an Alsatian. Alsatian? A guy from Alsace. Basically a Frenchman, as some people put it, even in his presence. One evening, he stood in front of my tent and asked for a word. Herr Unterofficer, is my origin a problem for you? He asked straightforwardly in a somewhat peculiar Alsatian dialect. So basically what happened was, and if you hover over a highlighted word, it will tell you a bit about the backstory. But basically, in 1870-1871, there was the Franco-Prussian War, where the Prussians ended up completely destroying the French. In fact, that was the war that led to the unification of Germany properly. However, they ended up taking a region known as Alsace-Lorraine. It was actually two regions, but Alsace-Lorraine is the territory sitting on the border between Germany and France. And it was obviously pretty much heavily German and heavily French. And basically, the two sides would end up going, wanting Alsace-Lorraine back. The French wanted it back, Germany wanted to keep it. And in fact, the French had basically built their entire education system around teaching young French people that they need to get Alsace-Lorraine back. And that's partly what led to them being very eager to get involved in World War I. Now with that, we can either ask him, where do you see yourself in this conflict? What are you trying to insinuate? And not in the slightest. I'm going to be kind to my unit because there's really no reason to be a dick to any of your soldiers except for a few times. Not in the slightest, I replied calmly. Danner nodded contentedly and looked relieved. I'm glad to hear that. It does wear on me a bit the way some of the men seem to think about me. You know, I come from a family of soldiers. I was a soldier before this war started. I'm proud of what I do. You better not advertise it too much. The way your comrades talk about you is wrong, or rightly so. I'm going to say the way your comrades talk about you is wrong, because I said, I will do my best to stop this. Danner looked surprised at first, but then his features softened in relief. Thank you, Herr Unterofficer, he said, saluted neatly, and left. So Danner is a professional soldier. He just happens to be from a region that is in contention. Now this is where we get something interesting. So if you notice, we now have 5 guys. Pedersen has now joined our squad, which sucks. So yeah, there's a few squad mates that are not super useful. Pedersen honestly is one of them. So I wonder if I could, where's the full list of your guys? Huh. But yeah, basically, Linek is physically fit, and he's actually fairly courageous and stuff like that. Pedersen, meanwhile, is a big eater, meaning that he actually constantly wants to be eating the double, and the standard meal is just not enough for him. So he does, his discontent goes up if you're on standard rations, which sucks. And And also, he's somewhat jaded, somewhat pragmatic, which means he's not super good. He's also clumsy, which means that like, he's gonna suck at doing most tasks, like most skill tasks. But he is very strong. But that's about his only like real benefit. Meanwhile, Linek is out of the hospital. Hooray! He's still a little hurt, but he'll be fine. Meanwhile, I'm going to come over to the hospital, and Schmittenbauer has collapsed after it worked. And she's basically going to tell me that I shouldn't be overworking my people, which, by the way, I had no choice with that. They had to set up the camp, and Schmittenbauer just happens to be one of those characters who's very weak. By the way, you can talk to them still. But, you know, no reason to. Meanwhile, outside of the camp, we have Madame Laroche, who, if you notice, is actually French. She's basically your leader, so you can ask her and the village to get food. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask for food, because if you notice down here, we have low food supplies. So we're gonna talk to our field cook. So he's going to ask me to either stay on standard or lower the rations in order to prevent, you know, us running out of food. Meanwhile, we have a task. These villagers are suspect. I keep hearing stories by Frank Tours on our side along the front. Basically like saboteurs. Organize some patrols to the village and show the French who's in control here. So they don't get any foolish ideas. So with that, we have to now head over to the camp and assign our guys. So us talking to Madame Laroche, we can send a soldier to pick up food from the village. That's going to increase our food supply, the villagers will disapprove, and it will fail after this turn. And we also need to send someone to patrol the village, 2 guys specifically. That one's exhausting, and depending on how our soldiers are, it'll either improve the villagers' opinion of us or decrease their opinion of us, and delay without consequence. So we don't need to do it immediately, but you know, it's important we do it. So we're going to assign that now, and this one's going to be really interesting. So if you notice, we have some relevant traits here. Now, if you want the villagers to have a higher opinion of you, you want to send tolerant people there. So Hunt is a great soldier to send. He's legitimately one of the best, and we'll send Linek basically to patrol the village. Meanwhile, we'll send someone to pick up the food. Doesn't really matter who. We'll send Pedersen, and we'll give Danner a bit of rest. And with that, we will move on to the next one. You won't get a journal entry every single time. One day, Pedersen was supposed to receive an exceptionally large gifts of love, basically a gift from home, and he received it. I can either keep the package for his supplies. I suggest he shares the concept with his comrades, or I just give it to him. I'm just gonna give it to him. He was super happy, and then he hastily packed it away and stood in the new private supply in his tent. Basically, he decided to be a dick and a fat guy and just hoard the food for himself. Thank you, dick. Meanwhile, he's going to tell us that the latrine is overfilled, so we have someone to do that. Meanwhile, he's going to tell us that we need to... that the Major has started an offensive. We won't be able to join in, but we'll be a part of the reserve. And eventually, that's kind of setting up the fact that we'll be going to combat soon. Meanwhile, the field laundry can't keep up with the demand. So we are being ordered to handle our own laundry, which is not good. Laundry is actually really good. Well, it's actually really important because filthy clothes help with disease like spreading. So trying to maintain at least a little bit of hygiene is like super important. You know, let's talk to Nurse Elizabeth, and she's super concerned about the upcoming offensive. So she's gonna ask us to dig a couple more grades and asking if we can spare some men. I'll say I'll see what I can do. I'm gonna be committal with her because, to be honest, I don't think I will be able to do it, especially considering I'm down a guy, and we still haven't gotten our 6th squad mate. So we also need to give a couple guys some rest. Pedersen, I'm gonna put you on latrine duty. And as for laundry, Danner, that's you, because you're the least tired of everyone. Up. And Madame LaRoche is coming to us. And here she actually praises Hund, saying that he was actually very decent on patrol. You also can ask her to help clean uniforms just to get someone off there. We might ask her to do it. But, I think we might hold off at least for this. Meanwhile, let's find Hund, who is over here. How are you? And for the behavior in the village, you either could praise him or reprimand him. Meanwhile, he tried to try to calm them down. So I'm actually going to praise him for that and tell him that Madame LaRoche actually really appreciated him. So with that, we'll keep these two resting, Lynette and Hund, and we'll just move on to the next phase. Again, like, you're not going to get journal every single time. So this scenario, I'm not going to read all of them all the time, but basically this scenario is a fellow squad of ours got, their entire food got eaten by rats. So they're basically asking if we could get a bit more supplies. So I'm going to say I'll see what I could spare, just try to get a bit more food for him, even though that might shorten my food supply. It's going to help him out. And besides, I've never served in the military, but after talking with a bunch of people in the military, generally speaking, being like pulling favors for guys usually gets you benefits down the line. And with that, Madame LaRoche is complaining about how the artillery is scaring the children. So I can either tell her that unfortunately it's going to happen for a long time, I could be more dismissive of her, or I could tell her to screw off. I'm just going to be a bit more like lenient with her and just say, hey, like, there's nothing we can do about that. And she's obviously very concerned, so I can either ask is there anything else I could do for you, or I can say my goodbyes. Let's go ahead and ask her. And this is actually very important to notice, is that she's French. So please don't kill them, our husbands and our sons, our brothers and fathers. So basically she's going to ask us to try to not kill, her countrymen. And I can say, I'm a soldier, I'll do my duty. I don't plan to, as long as they're not trying to kill us. I'm going to say I don't plan to. We both know that it did not mean it would be possible to avoid it. Still, looking into each other's eyes of silence, we each recognize the deep, felt hope that would not come to that. After a little while like this, she nodded thoughtfully, and I thank you for that as well, Monsieur. Take good care of your men and yourself. With those words, she turned away. So she likes this a bit more, which is good. Meanwhile, our lieutenant only thinks we're okay. And we got Mink. Awesome. Mink is actually one of the best soldiers we have, because he's attentive, which is the opposite of Schmittenbauer, so he's actually very good at searching, and he's also dexterous. Basically meaning he, right now, is our best medic, he's our best grenade thrower, he's our best action monkey. He is great. Meanwhile, this guy really sucks at his job and says that we haven't been resupplied, and now he's gonna ask me to give up some of our meat in exchange for bread. While this will make the rations more boring, you will end up with slightly more daily rations than before. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Now this one's gonna be a bit more of a kind of a crapshoot because some of your soldiers might hate it. Oh, Lynette wants to speak to me. There's a pub in the village, Herr Unterofficer. Dan or I would like to visit with your permission. I love the pub because basically the villagers hate they hate it, but it helps your soldiers so much. It helps your soldiers so much. So I'm gonna ask her if if she can do our laundry for us, which, thank you. Thank you, Madame LaRoche. I'm gonna try to be nice to her, because she actually really helps sometimes. Supplies running low, so we're just gonna switch over to meager rations. Oh great, this dick is back. Oh, guard captives. Fine. Alright, so I need to send someone to trade for provisions. Schmidt & Bauer's still in the fucking hospital. Holy shit. Alright. So I need someone to guard the captives. Same thing. You could either have them be intolerant, or you could send the guys who are more fairly tolerant. So I'm going to send Hunt and Menk in order to guard. I'm going to send probably Pedersen to trade provisions, and then we're going to send Danner and Linek to the hospital. Now, funny enough, these are the two guys who actually want to go to the hospital. To the pub, I mean. You can send more soldiers and that'll rest them, but unfortunately I have to send two guys to guard captives. So with that, after my deal with the field intendant, Zelensky could only give out extremely small portions of meat. While the rations are being distributed, some of the men were grumbling discontentedly about the situation. I could either just straight up say that the supply guy screwed up, and that I have nothing to do with it, which I just find that funny. I ignore their discontent or explain the trade. Let's explain the trade to them. I explained trade to them less meat for us in exchange for more rations that would nourish us for longer. It took some time to calm them down, but eventually the men accepted my explanation. Some not in agreement, others seemed rather sniveling, but no one showed any resentment, which is the best possible course of action that could happen. And with that, Hunt has been talking to the prisoner of war, and he's been very nice. So he's been giving them like chocolate and tobacco. I'm gonna commend him for that, which, you know, I like Hunt. Hunt is a very good soldier, so I want to try to keep him on side, no matter what. And with that, Lieutenant von Karsbach gives a super heroic, patriotic speech, and then Hunt just comes up to me afterwards and starts making fun of him. So let's also make fun of him and tell him that that's his idea of getting a medal. Hunt laughs, and it's not like he cares why he gets a medal, as long as you show off at home without actually doing anything himself. We mocked the lieutenant a little while longer before we went back to our duties. Which, honestly, that's what I would do in this situation, because this lieutenant does no clue what the hell he's doing. Lynette came hurrying towards me, clearly upset and with a bloodstained uniform. Herr Unterofficer, have you seen the sorry state of the field hospital, he asked. And basically, he is saying how the entire hospital is actually overflowing. So he's going to ask if there's anything we can do. We need to do everything we can to help. That's not our responsibility. I will look into it. I'm going to tell him that we're going to look into that. The last thing people at the field hospital near right now is more chaos and disorganized helpers getting in the way. Lynette nodded and began nervously walking up and down the camp. I should probably talk to Elizabeth soon to see if we need help. And with that, our hospital is overburdened. Now that's a bad thing, because if one of your soldiers get hurt, they're less likely to get treated well. And meanwhile, great, we have rats. So now we need our good old squad to handle that. Meanwhile, the lieutenant wants to talk to us again. We've been asked with guard duty. So basically we have to watch out around the camp. Meanwhile, Nurse Elizabeth is telling us that Schmidt & Bauer is ready for duty. And we're going to actually offer assistance to her. And this one you can assign as many as you want. It's a fairly depressing task, so a lot of guys don't like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize getting the guys who are not Menk or Hunt and get them a bit more rest. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Patterson and probably Lenek to do pest control. We'll send Hunt and Menk in order to do guard duty. And we will send we'll send Hunt to do medical because he's very compassionate. And we'll send Schmittenbauer. Meanwhile, I'll put Danner in charge of guard duty with Menk. And with that, we will move on. Oh, great. I think we've gotten a journal entry every single time. Every time I saw Menk, I didn't trust my own eyes. Basically, he looks super young. And to be honest, he's probably underage. That was a common thing. Like, there was young teenagers trying to enlist. And oftentimes they were allowed to because war was seen as a good thing that turned guys into men. I either say that he would have his own uses. I felt an impulse to look out for him. He would have to keep up. I have an impulse to look out for him. And then he tells me that would the recruiting officer send me out here if I wasn't qualified for it? And I'm going to praise him for that. I'm going to say, you got your wits about you. I like that. Keep that up and we don't have any issues. Yeah, there is absolutely a good chance that Menk is actually underage. Alright, so he also is tired. So what I'm probably going to do is go over here. We still have rats. But I'm going to get double rations. Just especially considering resupply just came in. We got latrine problems. And we'll be entering into battle soon. So he's not going to give us anything, but we got one turn until we go into battle. Which is what we're going to do. So we're going to make sure Hunt and Menk gets rest. They get rest. That's important. Pedersen, I don't care about you. You could do that. You could do latrine. We'll send Danner and Schmittenbauer to do pest control. We're going to let Lenek, Menk, and Hunt rest. Because we're going to be going to combat the very next turn. Basically, this is going to tell you that we're going to be heading into combat next turn. So, or if you're going to the trenches. So, Hunt looked neat and well groomed. You have noticed the way that his appearance did not entirely comply with the regulations. Basically, he made himself look a bit better. I can tell him he looks fancy. Are you some dandy? Lose the flower. I'm going to say you look fancy. He has a flair for the aesthetics, and he wants to make films, which I actually like. So, you work on films, and then he immediately begins to talk about it. And goes on and on and on, like I do with Warhammer. One evening, Hunt comes back to the camp with a whole crate of food. And he's very dismissive of where he got the food. So I can either demand whether he got the food. I did not mention food. I'm going to praise his initiative. We need food. And now Lieutenant von Karsbach is going to tell us we're going into battle. And I'll say, at your command, Lieutenant, because you're a genius and you're fantastic and great in every single way. Meanwhile, we're going to be going to combat, and this is not going to be good. So yeah, now we're going to go into the next combat phase, and it's raining. Great. Now this one's going to be interesting, versus the other one was about running away, grabbing supplies, and just getting out of there. This one's about assaulting the enemy trench. So with that, we obviously need to get up there. And we have a machine gun. So, Menk wants to talk to us. The enemy fires, forcing us to take cover. I wait your order to see how we should proceed. So yeah, we're under machine gun fire. Prevents almost all fireworks, increases stress. So we need to get out of here. But unfortunately... yeah, this is going to be our our only real option is to just stay low and get into the trench. That was a weird animation error. So yeah, this is the machine gun update, which, fun fact, this is my first game playing with the machine gun update, so I have no clue how to deal with the machine gun. So this is going to be an interesting thing. I'm probably going to lose some guys. Meanwhile, let's try to find a bit more equipment. So I'll task Mink with that one, and I'll task Linek with searching the knapsack. I'll keep everyone else under cover for now. Just so we could get a bit more supplies. And I think we can take a break. If you kind of delay a bit, the lieutenant will get mad at you, so you kind of have to keep pushing up. But I want to make sure we got equipment. He found nothing, and Mank was able to find a few supplies for us. Alright, so we're going to try our best to get a good position. That might be our only real option. Suppressed by machine gun, but it's fairly low danger. So yeah, we're gonna go there because we have to get across this river. So we're gonna have to take a couple risks when moving. Oh god. But yeah. Oop, Linek. That was pretty close. Yeah, he's basically saying how we're not in the best situation right now. So we can either go over there, or we could cross the river right there. In which case we'll have accomplished our first objective. I can leave a couple guys in order to do the covering fire for the movement, which I might actually do. I'm probably going to leave Danner, and we'll leave Hunt behind in order to provide covering fire. Now, Mank is actually very good at covering fire, but I'm going to need him up here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave Danner, Hunt behind, and we're going to try to get here. Okay, so those two will help mitigate the risk, but we are dividing our squad. But, you know, it's fire maneuver tactics. It's going to happen. So, sounds like someone got hit. Open fire. Drive the French out of their trenches. We're under heavy fire. They want to keep us down. Give the signal and we'll break through. Hey, thank you, Pedersen. And, oh no. Okay. Hund got hurt. But thankfully Danner is right there, ready to provide medical aid for him, which I like. And when your squad is divided like that, they will go ahead and go through that. And Danner will take Hund back to the hospital. Normally you have to task someone to do it. But, you know, Hund should be able to get back to the hospital. Meanwhile, I'm just going to tell Mank in order to cut the barbed wire, because since he's dexterous, he's very good at that. Once he cuts through this barbed wire, we can advance easier to probably over here. That's probably where we actually want to be. And because he's dexterous, he cuts it in one turn. Now, ideally, I actually wanted Hunt and Danner to join us, like, right now. So that way the entire squad could just move forward. Probably with Mank helping provide covering fire. But, you know, our squad mates will be able to, you know, get themselves back to the hospital. Mank is going to report that we have cut through the barbed wire. We are still being suppressed by machine gun fire. So we're not in the best position, so ooh, we're in extreme danger now. That's extreme danger. That's significant danger. What about over here? High danger, yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping this machine gun gets off of us and hits somewhere over there. Yeah. Yeah, let's stay here. Stay here and hope that they shift fire. Because we do need to take this trench, so we're just gonna go ahead and try to keep moving, and we're gonna try to hit somewhere over here. Okay. Great, they're still firing at us. Oh, Hund is back. So, Dan or Hund will automatically join us. That's significant danger still. That's only moderate danger. Okay, since this is only, like, significant danger, yeah, we're just gonna head there. Because we need to get out of this position. We need to advance forward. Hunt and Danner should join us soon. Okay. Because, yeah, we just need to get into these trenches. Schmittenbauer is reporting that we have been under fire. This is good. So we can loot the corpses. We aren't. Instead, we're going to throw a hand grenade, and we're going to suppress this group. So we want to have Mank throw the hand grenade, and then we're going to have everyone else suppress. Even though Pedersen's not the best, you know, we need him to do it. So, alright, let's go ahead and try to break through. Oh, someone got hit. Looks like Schmittenbauer. Mank, the MVP. It looks like our guys are assaulting, and Hunt and Danner have arrived. Awesome. So, yeah, there's only one guy there. Meanwhile, if we really wanted to, we could just take that position, and we can actually capture that guy. Mank is reporting a direct hit. Mal Schmittenbauer is saying that he's wounded. So now we need to have someone treat him. I'm gonna go ahead and actually have Mank treat him. And then probably still go through with our movement to try to get into the trench. And normally you would want to do covering fire, but considering the fact we're going to be entering close combat, that's bayonets, I want to try to maintain a 3-to-1 advantage. So we have one French over here. This guy's pretty much going to surrender almost immediately because he's separated from his unit. So we're going to keep our 4 guys. We're just going to go ahead, go over here, try to take this trench. Meanwhile, Mank is going to stay behind and treat Schmittenbauer. And then probably escort him. Alright. Alright, awesome. Looks like we're going to take that position. Alright, and we got a prisoner. Alright, awesome. So with that, we're training our guy back here. We are being flanked, which is not good. Meanwhile, we got a prisoner here who we can escort. We also have a wounded guy here. So we're not in the best position because we're just being suppressed. Okay, that's not awful. So we're gonna go ahead and honestly probably not shoot back. Instead, we're going to yeah, we're gonna keep our guys here. So we're gonna give some first aid to Chandot. We're gonna have Linek try to treat him. And with that, we're just gonna have everyone else just take cover. Because by taking cover, they could rest a little bit, try to calm themselves down. And besides, we're under heavy fire anyway. Let's just go ahead and stay in cover. But yeah, looks like the assault's actually doing pretty dang well. That's a grenade. Does not look like it hurt anyone, which is good. Okay. Danner is reporting he got a little bit wounded, but he's not bad. Meanwhile, Lenek is reporting that he's gonna pull through. Meanwhile, some of our guys are recovering. Meanwhile, hang on, is Mank back there? Oh, we had another soldier get injured, so Mank is he's just providing you like a medical post here. That's why I like Mank. Mank is great. Meanwhile, Schmanbauer is gonna get himself back to the hospital, which is good. Meanwhile, I can send someone back in order to, you know, capture him, which improves Lieutenant Karsbuck. With that, you want to send someone who's physically strong. So Pedersen, this is one of the rare few times that Pedersen's actually useful. So we're going to have Pedersen escort the prisoner back. Meanwhile, we'll have Danner and Hund continue to take cover. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and try to get that French prisoner back to our lines. And with that, Pedersen will just escort that guy out of here. Pedersen should be going with him, but Pedersen's model has not moved yet. Yeah, but with that, it looks like we're actually being fairly successful. Lenek is reporting that his bleeding is almost stopped. Okay. With that, we just need to hold our position. So I'm going to have Danner and Hund for the first time fire back. And we'll have Lenek just continue to treat the guy. Yep, meanwhile we're getting shelled by artillery. So yeah, with that we're down to half of our squad, although admittedly Mank is just in the next hole. Hund is telling everyone to keep their heads down. Lenek has reported he actually managed to save Shanot. And that's actually, Hund actually pointed out, that's our own soldiers. We have a dead French soldier over there. We'll just hold position here. Now we can send someone to escort this guy back, which we're probably gonna do. I'm gonna send Hund to do that, so that we can get 2 prisoners. So that way we can at least like pull a little bit of a potential success. Because spoiler alert, it's not gonna go well. Meanwhile, we have a wounded soldier here, so I'm gonna actually order probably Danner in order to grab him and get him into our cover in order to try to treat him. Meanwhile, Mank is still providing medical aid to this guy back here. Schmanbauer is getting himself back to a field hospital, and Pedersen is escorting a prisoner away. So I'm gonna have 1 soldier under my command, and Hund is getting that French prisoner back to our trench. The artillery was close. Yeah. So yeah, that's how you play that game. Sometimes you just have to, like, separate your squad. And have them do various tasks. Meanwhile, I think we were pretty successful in getting that wounded guy back to the trench. Danner is reporting that he almost got hit. That was far too close. It was far too close. Meanwhile, we need someone to take care of his wound. Danner's shocked, so he needs to, like, calm down. I'm gonna have Lenek treat Litzau. And we are literally just gonna stay in cover. Actually, I'm gonna have Danner toss a grenade. Try to try to push these guys back. Meanwhile, God, everyone's just short. Schmittenbauer has reached the hospital. That's what unknown whereabouts means when, like, a guy's getting to the hospital. Either that or he's been killed. But yeah, he most likely made it to the hospital. It's been enough time. So with that, we're just going to toss a grenade, treat the wounded, and that's it. Now the question is, will I actually be able to, like, get that guy back to the hospital? I'm hoping that he's just gonna be able to be like, be able to keep fighting, because I'm just gonna be down to 2 guys. There's Mink. Looks like he was probably unsuccessful in treating him, so yeah, it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to order Danner to provide covering fire for Mink, so that way Mink can get back to our position. Meanwhile, Linek is saying that he has a serious shot of rescuing him, which hopefully he can, because that would actually genuinely help. Meanwhile, Danner here is going to provide covering fire for Mink. Meanwhile, Pedersen's trying to get back to us right now, and Hund should be joining him soon. Oh, nope, that guy unfortunately died. We did our best. But, yeah. Getting one of our guys back to the hospital who was wounded, and getting 2 German prisoners. I mean, 2 French prisoners. That's actually super good. Meanwhile, Mink has finally rejoined. Meanwhile, we have officially been given our new task. Linek's a bit too beat up because Litzau died, unfortunately. I can search the dead soldier, but now we need to retreat. Looks like another German died there. Looks like Mink was unsuccessful in saving him. No, Hund has been wounded. He was probably trying to return. But, yeah, that's not super good. So, yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and retreat. I do like how Mink, finally got back here, and he's going straight back to his medical CP. Well, the casualty collection point, apparently. But yeah, we just need to retreat. And, that guy unfortunately died. I was about to make a comment how, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be leaving a couple guys behind, but no, that guy's dead. And our lieutenant is telling us to withdraw. Oh, meanwhile, Pedersen has came back. Meanwhile, Hund is wounded. Where is Hund? Because you can actually find them on the battlefield. And, because, like, they're still on the field, so obviously I want to try to find Hund and, you know, make sure he's alive. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna order my squad to lay down covering fire. Mank needs to rest, so I'm actually just gonna have them fire on sight. And we're just gonna have Pedersen and Mank just take cover. Meanwhile, we're just gonna try to buy time for the rest of the rest of our platoon to retreat. Yeah, this attack has gone very poorly. Okay, so that's still a bit too far. I can go all the way over there. But that's narrow cover. Is it better cover here? It's better cover here. So it's probably best just to stay here for another turn. But yeah, our guys are being really stressed out. Yeah, we're just gonna have our guys just rest, take cover and rest a bit. All right. Yeah, we got artillery pouring in. And yeah, we just need everyone else to just get out of here. Oh, we got a wounded German soldier there. So we're just gonna go ahead and actually move here. It's fairly moderate danger, but we're just gonna take that risk. I'm kind of hoping that's Hund. Just so we could treat him. It does not look like it. It looks like it's just a random German soldier. So we'll stay here, give him treatment. And probably help provide covering fire for everyone else. But yeah. Where did Honda go? Oh, I really hope he doesn't die. Oh, did he die? Oh, he died. Oh, shit. Oh, that's not good. That's a bit too far out, so we're not gonna be able to just make a run for the trench. Yeah, I hope Hund manages to get himself, like, out of here. Because, it's not gonna be good if he can't. We'll have Mank search that dead soldier real quick. Just so hopefully we can get a bit more equipment out of him. But yeah, I'm not seeing Hund anywhere. So I'm hoping he's able to... Because one of the other squads can pick him up and, like, treat him. Or he can limp back to the safety of our lines. I really hope he's not our first death. Alright, cool. Few bullets and a hand grenade. And unfortunately, he would be pretty much left here. It was incredibly dangerous to actually collect the wounded, so most people didn't even really try. We got another wounded soldier up there. Yeah, we just need to get out of here. Yeah, let's move on to the bridge. Let's get out of the river onto the bridge. Because A, it wastes time and allows the rest of our guys to move back. Although it looks like that machine gun is finally restarted, which is not good. Yeah, we're not in a good position. But thankfully, as soon as we hit here, we're good. So we're just gonna have our entire squad just make a run for the trench. And looks like we're all made it. Except for Hund, who is somewhere. I don't know where he is. I hope he gets back to the hospital. Like, you have Schmittenbauer. Please don't take Hund. Alright, and with that, we're done with the second mission. Not super great, but it'll work. And that'll probably be our last Major, Hunda was seriously injured. Whether he would survive the wound was unclear, and if he did, it remained uncertain whether he would be able to return to duty or even just a normal life. Ooh, that's not good. Meanwhile, looks like Schmidt-Bauer would be able to recover. Meanwhile, Carlsbach actually praises us. I'm gonna say we're doing our best. And with that, unfortunately, Hund is wounded badly. He might die. Meanwhile, Schmidt-Bauer looks like he's going to recover. Yeah, that was not a good battle, but with that, that'll actually be it for today. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate if you liked and subscribed, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.